Conor, welcome back. Congratulations. After everything that you have been through since the Khabib fight, is it possible to put into words what this moment means to you?
Hard work pays, you know what I mean? I'm no different than I was before. I just was committed and worked hard and earned it. And that's it. We are all equal, I feel. You know, it's the work you're willing to put in and the commitment you're willing to put in. And I was committed this camp, and I'm happy and proud to represent my team and our work.
Is it fair to say that you're a little emotional right now?
Of course. I mean, fighting is an emotional game. You've no idea. It's a roller coaster of emotion. Maybe a little more this time. All I've gone through and all the team's gone through and all my people's gone through. And it's good to get us back where we belong.
Do you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders?
If it is, I want it back on. You know what I mean? So, no, I just feel good. I'm very, very happy. Very, very proud.
Wow,
Conor,
guys.
welcome back.
Wow. What a great show. UFC 246. And yes, Conor McGregor is back. He's back, guys. Like him, love him, hate him, dislike him, anything in between. Conor McGregor is officially back on top of the mixed martial arts world where, let's see, I would love for him to maybe share that spotlight soon with one of our the Fight Bananas Fighter of the Year. We'll get into that in a second, guys. So much more. Wow. UFC 246, it's in the books. Finally, the hype, the Cerrone versus McGregor main event, and a lot of fights underneath had a lot of, implications of title fights and new stars. We called it before the fight. We thought Sadiq Youssef was going to be in the fight of the night and pick out the win. Boom, that's what he did. You got to watch out for Sadiq Youssef in 2020. Just unbelievable. But what a card, guys. Let's get right into it. To me, UFC 246 was a transitional card. It was a part 2 of a movie, of a trilogy, right? There's like the Lord of the Rings. It was the Two Towers. How about Godfather 2, Terminator 2? It was great. But you need the first one and you need the next one to kind of see, to put the whole movie and be like, okay, that made sense. Okay, that's that. I get it now. We needed Conor McGregor to come back, win, lose, or draw, to see what's next. What's going to happen? Who is he going to fight next and anything? Now he's back. He won. He looked great. His shoulders looked terrific. Head kicks Donald Cerrone. First round, 40-second knockout. Mystic Dean Toole kind of called that out there on the Fight Bananas podcast last week with Brock Weaver. But now we know, guys. It was a transitional card, and it's just this card is, I think, going to bring us to the end game. Like, this wasn't an Avenger Age of Ultron, which is underrated, by the way. But now this brings us to the main event. It brings us to, there's so many possibilities, and we're going to get into that in a second later on the show. Also later on the show, guys, everyone does top 5 lists. I'm going to do something kind of funky. It was UFC 246, so I'm going to do 4.6 lists. It's 4 people of the weekend, and then the 0.6. They were almost there. They almost got their own spot, but you're gonna know why when I say it, when him or her when I say it. So top 4 people of the weekend of the UFC 246. But guys, Conor McGregor didn't even put the icing on his cake. The return, the win, how respectful he was all week. The 40-second knockout. The star is who he is. It didn't go away. I don't think it got much bigger. But, guys, one thing I liked what Conor McGregor did this weekend. You ready? He made other people stars. He made 3, 4, 5 people stars. I'm telling you, I always say it. This is how I test where people are at. When my niece and nephews, when they say Sadiq Youssef and Roxanne and Grandma Cerrone, right? Like when they start talking about us diehards and the media and the mainstream, when we start hearing it from mainstream people, oh wow, yeah, Holly Holm won. She's the one that beat Ronda, right? Yes, she did beat Ronda Rousey. Yes, she earned another victory in the cage. She's an all-timer. You got Olenek in the submission. They're like, that was kind of cool. They were saying, if you just look at him, 6'7", just made out of stone, so athletic, throwing leg kicks, and you got Olenek who's been in there over 70 times, and he gets the win. People who don't watch it, they don't understand it. And that's what I love what Conor does. He just brings eyes to the screen. He brings attention to people like Diego Ferreira, who, same thing, we talked about him, guys. People slept on him. The man's on a winning streak in one of the toughest weight classes in the mixed martial arts game. I believe that's 6 in a row at 155. That just doesn't happen. Diego Ferreira is he's a playmaker. He's a guy that you have to look into. So now Diego Ferreira, Roxanne, and Sadiq Youssef, to me, can co-main event or main event those ESPN Plus cards. We can see those guys in a big top 10, top 5 fight, a title contender, a title eliminator fight now. So Conor McGregor literally made 4 main events. His fight and 3 more going forward. It's just crazy. It is what it is, guys. Love him, hate him, in between. It's amazing what he did this whole week and weekend. People are still buzzing about it. This is the UFC 246 recap show. Real quick, big out. Fusion CBD products, give him some love. Fight 2020. Put that code in, guys. 10% off. Real quick. FusionCBDProducts.com. I like how he already has a stigma about him, or he already has a label on him that Conor McGregor's the bad guy. Like, he went into this as the villain, right? He went into this as Heath Ledger as the Joker. He went in this as Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. Like, Conor McGregor went into this as the bad guy, and Cowboy Cerrone went in this as the white on riding horse. He went in this as Batman, as Superman. He went in this as the fan favorite. But guys, if I could just come out of left field, and I know you watched it. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably did watch all those UFC embedded shows, the countdown shows, and everything in between. If you're listening to the Fight Finesse podcast, you're all in with us, right? Conor McGregor looked like the hungry fighter. Conor McGregor looked like he was in the gym. Conor McGregor looked like he was drinking protein shakes and rolling with Dylan Danis and working on the ground game and everything in between. Cowboy Cerrone, on the other hand, his whole embedded show was him making sure he had a pool for his kid. And he was making sure he walked the streets, the old school, the downtown, the Fremont Street of Las Vegas, Nevada. And taking pictures, and I think he had dip in his... Hey, I don't want to get to that, but it looked like Cowboy Cerrone was drinking Budweisers with his fans, and Conor McGregor was in the mats, rolling around, sweaty, making sure he looked like $1 million. So if the roles were reversed, everyone would have been up in arms. But everyone's like, that's Cowboy.
Conor McGregor with a couple early shoulder strikes is in green.
Conor with a big shot to start this off. Oh, Don's nose is already bleeding. And it might be from the shoulder. Yes.
Get out of here with that.
Oh!
Kick from McGregor. Cerrone covering up.
That's a big shot.
Oh, Cerrone trying to survive. 30 seconds in.
Don's covering up.
Oh, this is going to be it.
Dean's going to stop it. That's it.
40 seconds, guys. That was it. Here, guys, I'm giving it away right now. Earmuffs. If you're in the car, you're driving with family, earmuffs. I don't know. I'm a little heated. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've had it over 30 times. People talking to me, DMing me, of course, all day Sunday, and, going on and on and on. Was this fight fixed? I heard this question 10 times. Was Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone the main event of a UFC pay-per-view with commissions involved, with 19,000 people and over 2 million people buying it on ESPN? Was this fight fixed? Yeah, that's what that people were asking me. Guys, people in the fight game, especially promoters, agents, fighters, coaches, they can't keep a damn secret against anybody. And you're asking me if this fight is fixed? I've been in the game for a minute. I have talked to fighters. I have talked to agents. I've been to arenas live. I've seen fights on UFC Fight Pass that we covered. I've been in the locker rooms. I've seen people after they get TKO'd, knocked out. I have been into hospitals to make sure that my friends have been okay from successful surgeries on mixed martial arts. I've seen people cancel birthday celebrations, cancel dates on their significant other so they can keep training and be the best mixed martial artist fighter ever. I've seen people fly in their families across the world. I've seen people do things that are unheard of to have a chance to be a UFC fighter, to fight on a UFC pay-per-view. And you want to ask me if this fight is fixed? If you think the UFC is fixed, if you think it's fixed, pause it. Stop the podcast. Get out of here. Slip on a banana peel and get your ass out of the Fight Bananas podcast. There you go. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. Guys, this isn't a regional show, and you know what I mean? Like, this isn't in downtown Texas, and people and promoters, and it's in a high school, and you know, they got their fan favorite, a guy with a big beard who with a big belly, and he sells all the tickets, so he might win the fight if it goes to the judges. Guys, this is the UFC. This is the big boys. No one thought Dana White did not know 500 days ago that George Masvidal would be the biggest thing of the sport. Okay? 500 days ago, we did not know Amanda Nunes would be a champ and would be a main event of UFC 200. Okay? You just don't know. The fights, Dana White says he's always jealous of Vince McMahon because he doesn't know who's going to win or lose. He doesn't know who to promote more or not to promote. You never know who's going to get injured or not. The fight game, the UFC main events, UFC 246, Cerrone McGregor was not fixed. Get over it. Gosh. I'm sorry. I had to. We got to transition out of it. I don't want to be mad. I'm in a good mood. UFC 246, FightBananas.com was on fire. Conor McGregor was having fans go into FightBananas.com. They're listening to the podcast. We're giving away free stuff. We got YouTube numbers are up. We got iHeartRadio numbers are up. Well, I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. Talking about being in a good mood, let's transition to what's next. We talked about how UFC 246 was a transitional show. So Conor McGregor comes back. It's been over, since he beat Eddie Alvarez, it's been forever. Khabib was 15, 16 months ago. Now he's back. He looks tremendous. His mind looked great. His body looked great all week long. So he gets a win in the 170-pound division against Cowboy Cerrone. So right off the bat, Joe Rogan was asking him what's next, and of course the camera goes to and sits in the first row, looking marvelous, in a robe, with the title over his shoulder, the BMF man himself, George Masvidal. Is George next? Yeah, I sure hope so. It's the biggest fight you can make, and I think the UFC has to pull the trigger. We put this on the Fight Bananas official on Instagram, a picture of them two. They are the two biggest stars in the sport, at the same weight class, both ascending to higher pay-per-view ranks of all time. This is it. Guys, don't mess around. Don't play with it. Don't see that sneak. If we can, we could match Masvidal with Usman, and that could be a big show. Then we could match Conor McGregor against Gaethje, and that could be a big show. Yes. And guys, and those are great fights. They are. It's awesome. You can't mess it up. But once in a lifetime, once in a full moon, you just have to go all in. You just have to say, Conor, Masvidal, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, sell out 60,000 tickets. Tell Ireland, everyone to come on in. Lower the plane tickets. Everyone from Dublin, come on in. Come to Miami. Spend the weekend. And let's go bananas. So that's got to be next. If not, I just really think they can blow it. And of course, a loss doesn't hurt each guy, but they're both coming off, wins. I just think it's just perfect. The match is set. The match is made. But of course, it looked like Dana White at the press conference, and maybe he's just kind of saying it's out of left field. And maybe, you know why I think he might be saying it too, guys? He said Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's the fight Conor wants. Anytime he loses, seems like he definitely always wants that rematch. That's why he wants to fight Floyd and Khabib, and that's why he fought Nathan Diaz. Of course, he did mention Nathan Diaz again. The trilogy, that's one of the guys that's on my list, and that's up there. He's in the top 4, Nathan Diaz, but to me, that one is just anytime they want. Conor could lose 2 more. He could lose a boxing fight, come back, and fight Nathan Diaz. Nathan Diaz could come back, fight Gaethje or Dustin the Diamond, and then, fight the Conor fight. So I think that's on the back burner. That they can wait to 2022. That's just me. So with Dana White saying Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think what he's doing is, of course, the Khabib and Tony's already signed, and just in case anything happens in that, just in case in the next couple of months something happens, he can just slide Conor McGregor in it, and he's already said, oh, yes, that's who Conor should fight. That's what I think. That's what I heard from it, because I think it just makes too much sense. Guys, Conor wants to fight 3 times. Khabib's not fighting until April. If he beats Tony Ferguson, which we'll get into that in another podcast, but what, that you're putting Conor off to June? July? Conor wants to fight before that. Let's set up Conor in May. Let's set up Conor May 10th, right? What are we doing here? And last but not least, Kamaru Usman, who is the welterweight champion. Can Conor McGregor, can he become the first champ? 3 different weight classes, 3 belts. If you don't think Conor's on that Mount Rushmore already and the legacy set and what he's done in the UFC is just, no one really has done it before him. Imagine that. Imagine if he beats Kamaru Usman, and if anyone says he can't, he has proved you wrong, me wrong, and everyone else in between. The man can just do anything. He could beat Usman, a straight left, and it's just night-night. I would think Usman would win. I think he would be the favorite going into that fight. But to say that Conor can't, you just haven't watched his career. You haven't just followed Conor McGregor's rise of beating Max Holloway, Dustin the Diamond, Chad Mendes, the wrestler, Jose Aldo, the greatest featherweight of all time in 9 seconds, Cowboy Cerrone, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time with records galore. You have not seen what Conor McGregor has done. So, Usman, welterweight championship, I like it. Khabib Nurmagomedov, lightweight championship, I like it. Nathan Diaz, 2022, and it has to be that what the Fight Bananas locked in next pick has to be Masvidal versus Conor McGregor. All right, guys. Quick plug, WarhammerFightwear.com. Definitely go to the website right now, okay? If you're listening down to the phone, just kind of swipe up, okay? WarhammerFightwear.com. Hit them up right now. If you're a guy, check for their shirts. I love their shirts. It has that really cool mesh material. It's like a dry fit. It's awesome. And if you want to get something for your lady, guys, Valentine's is coming up. Buy those leggings. They're unreal. WarhammerFightwear.com. Okay, there you go. All right, here we go. Last but not least, we're going to end the show like this. Thank you so much, Dave Van Auken, Fight Bananas Podcast. Subscribe everywhere, donate, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, all that good stuff. We're going to call it not a top 5 list, the top 4.6 list. It was UFC 246. We're going to start from 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go to the 0.6. Number 4, fighter of the weekend at UFC 246 weekend. It's got to be Roxanne. Roxanne. Okay. She defeated Macy Barber. And I know Macy Barber, it's really horrible news. The ACL, 9 months. It stinks. It's sad. But one thing what I like that Joe Rogan pulled off was maybe it was Roxanne's punching ability and jab ability that hurt Macy. They showed Macy kind of step back, and that's when she hurt herself. But Roxanne was putting on a goddamn show. Roxanne won round 1 before there was any injury. The biggest underdog on the card by far, plus 650. Macy was minus 800, and Roxanne got the dang thing done. I was talking to my main man, Sherrod Blackledge. We were DMing back and forth. He was pumped. He told me before the fight, and I wish I could have had him on, or at least we could have had a video or something. He told me that Roxanne was going to win that fight. So big ups to Sherrod Blackledge. Big ups to Roxanne, the number 4 fighter of the weekend. Number 3, we're in the final 3, Diego Ferreira. It's just, I like how he looked. It's just kind of, that's the most underrated, best thing going right now in MMA is the pace. The Colby Covington push, the Khabib Nurmagomedov, and that's what Diego's doing, guys. He's not more skilled than Anthony Pettis. I don't think he is. I really do, deep down inside my soul, I don't think he's more mixed martial artsly skilled than Showtime. But it seemed like he wanted it more, and it seemed like he was walking forward more. He pushed the pace. It was his fight. He was like, I'm winning this fight. Anthony, you had your time. It's mine now. 6 straight wins in the 155-pound division. Big fight is coming Diego's way very soon. He switched gyms, and he just keeps on winning. So you just got to give the man respect. He's the 3rd fighter of the weekend. Number 2, and you guys might be like, really? It's Dana White. I know he didn't fight, but everything went absolutely, maybe almost perfect for Dana White this week. Conor McGregor looks like a star. He was grinning from ear to ear. He looked like the Grinch at his press conference. For one, didn't Dana White just seem like in a good mood all goddamn weekend? He just seemed like he was in hog heaven. But he was really amped about the UFC, ESPN pay-per-view numbers. He gave ESPN a lot of love about how much they promoted the fight. And I think it was $65. It was $5 more than ever. And I think it broke every record. He thinks it broke every ESPN pay-per-view record of all time. Conor McGregor, Cowboy Cerrone on the top, Holm in the co-main event. 2 fights were canceled the fight week and weight cut issues. But overall, Dana White, and then he has so many options. He can't mess up. He could make George versus Conor home run. He could somehow make the rematch with Khabib and Conor, and everyone's like, wow, that's the biggest fight ever. He could make him versus Usman. If something happens, just say something happens with Leon and Tyron and it just doesn't look good, and, I don't know, maybe Colby really goes after Masvidal at an ATT in Coconut Creek, and then that match is made. It's just, he could make Conor versus Usman. And, of course, you could make Diaz versus Conor 3 and make it July and just be one of the biggest fights in the history of the game. So Dana White's got options, he's got money, and he's got his smile back. So Dana White is number 2. Number 1, surprise, surprise, Conor McGregor. Guys, it was his day, his week. I thought he was just awesome before the fight and after. How respectful, how genuinely he just looked really in a good place, right? You can just tell sometimes when life around you is okay. He said he was drinking a little bit less this week. He just seemed like he was in a really good place. His training looked great. His coach, Kavanaugh, was saying that he looked better than ever. He just looked in phenomenal fighting shape. His mind looked clear. I haven't seen Conor McGregor like that since the come up. You know what I mean? I just think he looked like Conor McGregor of 2016. But 170 pounds of pure muscle. It was just phenomenal. I'm still blown away. I watched it live. I screamed I was just like, wow. 40 straight seconds of just pure attack of his left hand, shoulders, and then the head kick to head kick Cowboy Cerrone. Are you kidding me? Just, gosh. Conor McGregor owned the week. Right now he owns the MMA landscape. He almost can pick who he wants to fight. And, he's mentioned names like Paul Felder and Colby Covington and Gaethje and Ferguson. It's just, he has endless opportunities to who he fights next. All right, last but not least, this is the point 6. I couldn't give this spot fully to this person, but I wanted to talk about her. Guys, it's Grandma Cerrone. The point 6 goes to Grandma Cerrone. I just think she left that weekend a star. I can see her doing Budweiser commercials. The embrace, the hug between her and Conor McGregor, it's just one of these iconic pictures. I remember in football, guys, I remember Drew Brees holding his son after the Super Bowl. There's just iconic pictures in sports landscapes. For me, and I might be off on it, that's just one of those pictures. Grandma Cerrone and Conor McGregor. I just loved it. And then, of course, the hug with Donald, and just Donald, how nice, and he had so many great things to say about her. it was just tremendous. It really was. So the 0.6 goes to Grandma Cerrone, 4 Roxanne, 3 Diego, 2 Dana White, number 1 Conor the Notorious McGregor, and Grandma Cerrone. What a great week. What a great weekend. Guys, keep coming back to the Fight Bananas podcast. I'm sorry if I got a little animated, but I just want to apologize to absolutely no one. Make sure you subscribe to the Fight Bananas YouTube channel, iHeartRadio. Give all of our sponsors love. Space Coast Botanicals. Go to spacecoastbotanicals.com. I absolutely love their stuff. Everything. The drops. They got the pre-roll-ups right now. They got that the bomb, the 500 mg CBD bomb. It's insane. I'm telling you guys. Space Coast Botanicals. N-Still Nutrition, you know we've been with them since day one-ish. Love some N-Still Nutrition. Go to nstillnutrition.com. Check them out on the Instagram, N-Still Nutrition. Make GoTech mouth guards. Something maybe Cowboy Cerrone needs to get as a mouth guard now. Make sure Mako Tech mouth guard. If you're in the Gulf, in the Panhandle, give them some love. Check them out, guys. Mako Tech _ mouth guards. Guys, Fight Bananas Official, David Van Auken on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at David Van Auken. Spell it correctly, VANAUKEN. Guys, thank you so much. This was the UFC 246. This was the Conor McGregor show. This was the transition into the end game. Guys, have a great day. Continue success. Stay blessed. And we're going to talk to you very, very soon.